Hey, Ryan, Michael Galloway, We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com coming back at you. We're talking about the couple recording projects that I'm working on at this time, and hopefully relating it to you and the projects you might be wanting to do to get some product out there relatively inexpensively. So we're talking about the fact that we are kind of doing a double release. We're doing one CD that's got a much more pared down kind of sound, almost acoustic living room kind of sound, a little bit more than that in a few places. And then another one that is full band production. So we started with the acoustic stripped down version first. Now, when you go into the studio, you're going to have to figure, my goal is I want you to walk in there with some kind of familiarity as to what you're going to end up doing. But there's a couple ways you can approach this. You could sit down and record whatever your main instrument is going to be and vocals at the same time. But if that's going to be guitar and vocals, you're going to have bleed through from one mic to the next, and it's going to take away some control you have over making this, enhancing sounds and that kind of thing. So typically, you'd lay down an instrument. This is if we're not doing drums. You'd lay down an instrument, the main instrument first, the rhythm track. And I will put a set of headphones on. I'll listen to the click track, which a metronome, basically, to keep everything tight. So anything else we're going to play with it will be in time. And if you're a soloist, this is a big deal because you're not used to playing with other instrumentalists, and so you're not used to syncing up. And you want to be practicing with a metronome and a click track or whatever all the time, and you want to record with one if you possibly can. Unless there's just so much variance in the speed of your song that you're going to have to retard, slow it down, you're going to have to accelerate speed back up and that kind of thing, then maybe you don't want to. But I advocate having a click track. I put on my headphones, strap on my guitar. If it's a guitar song, I think of the arrangement in my head as I'm playing it, and I sing the words to myself, even have the words in front of me so I can remember where I am, or maybe I have the song charted out. And I play all the way through and record that guitar. If I'm not practiced up as I need to be, Ron can punch me in places. And that, what's a punch in? It's where you maybe you have a mess up and you go back in the recording to before the mess up and you play along with it. When you get close to that place where there's a mess up, he starts recording again just as you're playing, and it takes over, and you play it through the end of the song if you can. So you end up with a basic track, a guitar track in this case. Maybe it's a piano track in some cases, and you can also hear the click track. It'll be taken out later, but you can hear it, so you can hear how tight it and coordinated everything is. At that point, I might add some, an extra rhythm track, guitar, if I wanted to, or a different rhythm that coincides with the first one that I played. I might want to do a little finger picking or a little bit of lead playing or something like that, and start building the arrangements up. Ron will come back. He'll add an acoustic bass, which he'll probably produce from a keyboard. Maybe we want to get around to singing the lead vocal along with it, and maybe add some harmonies behind it. There's some tricks for recording the harmonies. You might want to try doubling them or tripling them. You might want to sing with 2 or 3 friends around one microphone and double or triple those. You get a really full background sound, and then you kind of bring those back, but they sound extremely full. That's what the Eagles and Crosby, Stills and Nash have done for many years in an awful lot of their stuff. Not always, but quite often. And sometimes you just sing one part with yourself and you go, wow, that sounds pretty good. I don't need to double or triple that, but it's relatively rare. So that's how you build up from a basic solid track that maybe you played with a click track, a metronome to keep it solid, and just layer in what you want to layer in. Now, I have friends out there who produce and record as well who have a philosophy that you want to add as little as possible to the song. If it doesn't need it, don't add it. And that's certainly the approach that Ron and I took with the acoustic version of this. And you still get carried away, and you still add things that you go, well, it's a little bit bigger than I thought, but it keeps them from getting too gaudy right off the bat. It's one of the biggest problems we all have as home producers is trying to figure out what to leave out. So it's tough, but if you start with the premise that you're going to add only what you really need, then 80% of the time that's the way it's going to turn out. So we'll get back and talk about the more produced approach. shortly. And I am Ryan Michael Galloway. We don't need no stinking record company.com.